These are the top 3 things you should do if you're considering buying recreational property. Hey guys, Tim Guidros with UC Hunting Properties here with another episode of the Land Pros. Today we are talking about the top 3 things you should do if you're buying recreational property. So the number one thing you gotta do is call a land agent. You've got to have somebody that knows the market, has the ability to show you the property, and understands your goals for the property. There's a lot of different niches in real estate, residential, commercial. I don't know anything about commercial real estate in Baton Rouge, or I can't find you a house close to your kid's school and coffee shops. I don't know anything about that. Call a land agent and they can get you on the right path. Your mama's friend, Miss Nancy, might be cool, but just because she bought a pair of lacrosse hunting boots doesn't mean she's qualified to show you the property, unless she's going to carry you on her back. So typically dealing with hunting properties or any recreational real estate, you've got to have the right contacts from the beginning. Number one, a land agent is going to have contacts with the farm credit system. Now with the farm credit system, they're going to have usually better rates and better terms than a traditional bank when buying large tracts of land. And if you're going all cash, you don't need financing, that's great. That's going to make things go very quickly and very smoothly. But what about when you get to the property and it needs some clearing? It needs maybe a prescribed burn. You're going to pull some timber off of it. It doesn't have food plots and stuff set up yet. You're going to need somebody that's got the contacts to do all of those things. Otherwise, you're stuck making a million phone calls and probably not getting much done. You know, one thing we do for our clients is that before we even put an offer in, we'll look at a property and we'll get things set up. Okay, this property's not turnkey, so it needs X amount of food plots. We got to pull timber off here, whatever the case is. We set all that up before we even send an offer and see if it's going to work for that particular client. If it is a turnkey property, what are you going to need to do to maintain it? A lot of people do know these things, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't know. So without going into rants on why you should call a land specialist and not a commercial specialist or a residential specialist, call a land agent and they're going to get you on the right path. Number 2, what, why, and where. The what. What is it that you want? Do you need 100 acres? Does it need a pond? Does it have to have a camp on it? Turnkey, ready to go? Or are you willing to go in and do some work? Knowing all of this stuff up front is going to make things go a heck of a lot faster, and it's going to make the process easier on everybody. These tracts that are listed, especially right now, being such a seller's market, they're not lasting long. As soon as they're listed, within a week or so, they're gone. So you need to know exactly what you're looking for up front before you even have your agent do a search for you, because once that property pops up, you need to go out there and look at it. And the biggest what is knowing your budget. What is your budget? It doesn't make any sense for me to send you $1 million properties if all you can afford to spend is $400,000. Let your agent know up front exactly what your budget is. Nobody's judging you. What can you afford to buy? So we're looking at the right properties, and we're not bouncing around looking at stuff you can't afford and living in fantasy land. That doesn't help anybody. And then where? Where do you need to be? Is it more of a proximity to where you live? Is it an area that's known for having big deer, for having lots of turkeys? Where do you want to be? Kind of narrow down, the few parishes or counties that you're interested in, so we're not bouncing all over the place. It's imperative that you know where you need to be up front so you don't miss out on a property. And the next is the why. Why are you buying this property? My job is to put the property that's most suited to you in front of you. So I need to know, are you buying it just for hunting? Do you need some fishing? You're going to be doing riding four-wheelers and stuff on it? Or is this an investment? Are you expecting a return on buying this property? Then we've got to go find you a good timber tract. Letting me know all this up front makes things go much, much faster and smoother. Number 3, have realistic expectations. 150 acres with a 3-bed, 2-bath camp an hour away from Baton Rouge doesn't exist anymore. Those properties aren't there. So if you see one of those properties, and let's say everything I just said is listed at $600,000, let's just say it's $600,000. well, you only want to spend 5. This property checks all the boxes. Well, you pass on that property and you're sitting there for another year trying to find this magical unicorn property that doesn't exist. That property that checked all the boxes just gained 3 or 4% in value while you were sitting on the sidelines and haven't gotten in the game. Or let's run through another scenario that I've encountered a lot over the past year and a half. You want something that's got X amount of acreage, but you need a camp. Or this one's got the right acreage, it's got a camp on it already, but I really want to be able to fish and it doesn't have a pond on it. It's easier for me as a land agent to find you a piece of land that's in your budget, that is close in proximity to where you live, in terms of how far you want to drive. It is easier for me to find you that piece of land that has utilities and water close or available at the property, and get you in contact with somebody that can build you a camp or move a trailer onto the property. It's easier for me to call somebody that I've got a contact with that can dig you a pond. It's easy, rather than looking for this magical unicorn property for X amount of dollars that's turnkey right up front. Those properties are hard to find. So it's much easier for us to find you where you need to be within your budget, where you want to be and within your budget, and then get you in contact with all the people that can do the other things later on down the road. And look, I can go over scenarios like that all day long, but I'm not going to do that. Setting your expectations up front and being realistic about what you can buy is key in obtaining the property that you're looking for. And that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, the top 3 things to do when buying recreational property. Number 1, call your land agent. You call a land agent, they're going to make the whole process a lot smoother and a lot easier than you can possibly imagine. Number 2, what are your goals for the property? What are you going to use it for? Do you need a return on investment? All of those. Tell your land agent. Be realistic. Like I said, these unicorn properties aren't there. I have these conversations weekly of I want X, 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 and I need to pay X for it. It's not going to happen. Be realistic. Hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to be coming out with these hopefully once a week. See you next time.